Welcome, Lance. Coleman's SBA 7A Certified Liquidation Training Office Hours, Week 6. 2 more left to go. How you doing, Lance?
I just about made it through. Bob, I was worried this week. I don't know if anybody knows, but I coach 2 competitive fast-pitch softball teams. And Sunday, we were in a tournament from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I got sunburned on my face so badly, and I was peeling midweek, and I was concerned that you were going to see a multicolored face today.
What level? What level is the team?
It's 14 and under.
Good for you.
Fast pitch girls softball.
Good for you. Good for you. You know how to ask the questions. A little change on the poll questions. This is for my own market research. Want to know how you view the content, how you view the material. This is obviously you can do both. Primarily, do you view at work or do you view at home? I'm going to ask you about mobiles and tablets next. But this gives us an idea from a production standpoint of what we should be aware of. And 100% Lance, do it on the boss's dime.
On the boss's, well, I mean, I would expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, this training is important for participant banks, especially those that go through the new Paris review process. They're going to ask questions about the training that you do for your SBA lenders, servicers, closers, and liquidators, and makes sense that they're doing it at work.
Poll question number 2. Do you ever view it on your phone? That's what we'd like to know. Or I guess even if you're planning on doing it on your phone.
Gosh, Bob, that hurts my feelings. I was hoping they would say they were viewing it on a 70-inch LED.
No one has gone mobile yet. And we'll ask one more at the tablet. Has anybody viewed it on a tablet? The iPad, all the other choices are out there. I know there's ways to view it on the tablet and then put it on the big screen, but let's see. Here we go. 1/3 have done that, have used the tablet. Well, I appreciate those responses. It helps us formulating the content and what's happening from that standpoint. Let's get into the questions. Oh, I'm sorry. We got more poll questions. These are what Lance prepared. When do you prepare the purchase demand kit? What do you use for the loan transcript? The SBA Form 1149, your internal bank transcript. Who needs a stinking transcript? We don't need transcripts.
Bob, I asked this question because so many participant lenders are afraid to use their own internal bank transcript on a purchase demand kit. And it's not required that you use the SBA Form 1149, although it certainly is the preferred method for smoother processing. But as long as your internal transcript has all of the required information, you can use your internal transcript. And one mistake that I will share with them not to make, if you use your internal transcript and it has an internal loan number, make sure, and you can use an ink pen for this, to write clearly in large print the SBA loan number on it.
I thought you were going to take me back to the 80s and tell me to white out that number and type over it.
Well, the internal loan number's not going to hurt, but you need to clearly have somewhere at the top of the first page of the transcript the SBA loan number. I'll tell you, Bob, one of the most interesting projects that I've worked on in the last 3 months was trying to reconstruct a transcript from 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was an interesting project.
100% use the SBA Form 1149.
Okay.
When do you get the IRS 4506Ts and the tax transcripts for your SBA loan? Prior to loan closing, during the life of the loan, during the loan liquidation process, when preparing the purchase demand kit?
Ideally, Bob, the answer to this question will be the first response, although the reason I ask this question is I've worked a significant number of purchase demand kits for banks throughout the country this year, and one of the most common problems that I run into is missing transcripts. No 4506T, no transcripts. And it's never too late. If you review the loan 4 years down the road, is still performing, you find there's no 4506Ts, get those borrowers to sign it and send it in. We have even done so during the liquidation process. Now, according to SOP, you should have done this at a much earlier date, but in terms of liquidation, it's better to submit a 4506T and transcripts that were late than not submit them at all.
Absolutely. And I admonish my underwriters in my underwriting training that I am doing to, that's your responsibility. And make sure that you compare the transcript with the tax returns, because that also tends to not happen where a closer will get it, put it in the file, and no one double checks it.
Bob, one thing I'll share with you, I was sitting at a bank this week, and we were talking about underwriting SBA loans, and they were concerned about the timing of getting a 4506T signed. I said, you know, when you have that initial meeting and you think you might be interested, what's it going to hurt to go ahead and fill that form out and get it signed and get it submitted and get those transcripts in? And it'll help prevent a delayed closing.
Also, there are services that will turn that around to you in a day or two as well. Very nominal cost.
Well, there's an electronic link. You're exactly right, Bob. There's an electronic link that the IRS provides that you can go in and get electronic service on the transcripts, and it's incredibly fast.
100% are righteous, and we get it prior to loan closing. Next poll question. What is the average length of time for payment of the guarantee on an express loan after you've submitted your package? Less than 30 days, 30 to 60, more than 60. We do not have any loans that we need to package because we are good express loan lenders, or we're not a lender.
I'm just curious what the bank's response. I've had, and I bring this up just for you express lenders, exceptional experience in 2015 with both the Little Rock and the Fresno Center. In my particular circumstance of the purchase packages that I've submitted have all been less than 30 days this year.
That's the experience on the answers. 33% are less than 30, 33% are more than 60, and 33% are NA. They are not an express lender.
Well, the one thing I would share with our banks is if you have a very complete express package, you can anticipate 45 days or less.
Good. Next question, Joseph. How many times have you given up on a purchase demand request to SBA? Never. A few, more than 5.
Well, I asked this question because I had an opportunity, and this has happened throughout the years, last week to resurrect an SBA loan where the lender had given up, and I was able to find areas that we could fix and resubmit, and I'm about 90% certain, Bob, that I'm going to get them paid. And they had given up on it about 4 years ago.
We have a persistent crowd. Never say never. They do not give up. And have you ever submitted an express loan for expedited purchase? Yes or no?
And just so they understand, the expedited purchase on an express loan can take place if you have commercial real estate or assets that will take a prolonged period for liquidation. It can take place when your borrower or guarantors have filed bankruptcy. But what the expedited purchase allows you to do is submit the purchase demand kit and get paid on the guarantee before you actually liquidate the collateral.
Good point. No one has had that experience yet. Email question. We have an express purchase demand kit that we are ready to submit to SBA for payment. It is an early default loan. The documentation is good with one exception. We do not have the 4506T and the transcripts. What can we do?
Cry? No. I just want to share with everybody, this is one of those things that's not in the SOP. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it's what I recommend in this circumstance. I've done it probably 12 to 15 times. I've been successful 90% of the time. What you can do is if you have 3 years accountant prepared tax returns, and you can get those with a borrower's signature on it. Those can be submitted as a workaround for a missing 4506T and transcripts. Now, everything else about your package better be in great shape. But sometimes the centers, and again, there's no guarantee of success with this, but this is what I do in this circumstance. Get 3 years. It's got to be accountant prepared. Cannot be QuickBooks or Uncle Jim prepared. It has to be CPA prepared tax returns, and submit those in lieu of the 4506T and the transcripts, and just slap a memorandum on the front of it that says, we don't have the 4506T or the transcripts. We would like to submit accountant prepared tax returns that we collected in lieu of that. And in many circumstances, that will work.
Another strategy that you may choose to use is sit down with the borrower. Usually these are contentious, but throw out offer and compromise. Talk to their attorney. Say, hey, we can be your best friend in working with SBA. Oh, and by the way, we need to update the tax returns. We need this 4506 filled out. So that could be in your toolbox as well. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, if you don't have the 4506T and transcripts, and you've got your purchase demand kit together, again, don't walk away from it. Get those accountant prepared returns, slap a memo in front, explain what happened, tell them you'd like to submit the accountant prepared returns in lieu of the 4506T and the transcripts.
Great. Give us a recap on week 6. Oh, we're going to 7 already?
Hey, week 7, we're going to talk about an incredibly important part of the SBA lending process. And I say this, we were talking about the Paris review, Bob, before we came on the call. And if you've had an opportunity to look at the areas that they review in the Paris review, one in particular is how many SBA loans have been in liquidation for 3 years or more. And if you have an excessive number of those, that might trigger a more in-depth review of your bank than just the virtual review. So the charge-off and wrap-up process is critically important to an SBA lender. Once you get paid on the guarantee, the work is not done. So on express loans, it's pretty easy because the express purchase demand kit allows you to actually do the wrap-up in the PDK. But on the SBA 7A loans that are submitted to Herndon, you're going to have to do an actual wrap-up tab like everything SBA does. There are wrap-up tabs. So we're going to cover the process of pulling together a wrap-up report and a recommendation for charge-off. And again, you're not done when SBA pays the guarantee. You've got to wrap it up and make a recommendation for charge-off.
Absolutely, absolutely from that standpoint. Reading materials. What is SBA Notice 501311?
Well, it's just related to when you submit wrap-up reports or when you should submit wrap-up reports. The Helpful Hints Guide is a comprehensive liquidation guide that my old friend Dana Relier, who used to run Vanessa is the director there, but Dana was Vanessa's right-hand person. Dana pulled together this Helpful Hints Guide, and it helps you prepare for the charge-off and wrap-up process. Also gives you the URLs for the tab system and how to submit it through Send This File. So reading materials will support you in your effort to understand the wrap-up and charge-off process. We're also going to talk a little about Treasury referrals and how that works.
Very good. Do we have any questions? Lance, thank you very much. Everyone have a nice weekend. Talk to you next Friday.
Thank you.